Okay, shalom, shalom, kwam yasharala, koholoyum la Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, B'Hashem Rekha HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us his beautiful truth. Just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawaf, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that is edifying by the Spirit. And, just wanted to do a quick little lesson on these H.I.Mites right here. These OnlyFans, that's trying to hold these records of competitive sex, right? It says, which OnlyFans star holds the record in the competitive sex trend, breaking down the numbers. And these are Edomites. These are the people that, when you see so-called black women, they got that blonde wig on or that blonde ass weave in their head, you know what I'm saying? This is who they're trying to be like. They're trying to replicate, you know what I'm saying, the great whore, basically. Like crazy, bro. It says several OnlyFans stars have tried their hand in a competitive sex trend, but only one currently claims to hold the world record. In January 2025, the publicist of UK creator Bonnie Blue confirmed to The Sun that she had sex with 1,057 men in 12 hours. That is fucking crazy, bro. Months later, Australian star Annie Knight put her hat in the ring when she slept with 583 men in 6 hours. Crazy, bro. I mean, what are they doing? Walking up, sticking it in, and walking away? Because it's like, golly. Like, my goodness, bro. A pace that was on track to beat Blue. Doing 583 in a day is quite a lot. So I was quite a lot. Bitch, no, that's disgusting. She says doing 583 in a day is quite a lot. So I was a little bit worried that I was going to really struggle with it. Because the most I've done before, that was 24 in a day. That's crazy, bro. These hoes, that boy. Knight exclusively told U.S. Weekly days after competing the challenge in May 2025. But it was honestly fine. I was shocked by how easy it was. Yeah, I'm sure you was. Yeah, sure you was. Yeah, sure you found it to be easy. It says, Knight, who received 2,000 registrations for the event, was hoping for 200 men to show up, but the number was more than double. You just get so many no-shows, and I'm used to that. So I'd kind of allowed that buffer sheet just in case, she explained. So obviously saying 200 and then getting 583, I was very pleasantly surprised and also very organized for it as well. We were prepared. And like I said, if you were to see this chick right here, you'd be like, oh, not a bad looking chick. But she got the numbers of it's men that don't have this, it's crazy, bro. Blue and Knight aren't the only creators who have attempted these events. Scroll down and see where OnlyFans stars stand. Okay, so Lily Phillips, god damn, 1,113 men in 12 hours. Crazy. She slept with 100 men in one day. That was in 2024. While reflecting on the event, Phillips became emotional in the YouTube documentary, sharing it's not for the weak. If I'm honest, it was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it. Whoops. Duh. Now, one thing I will say about Eve out here, man, she on the carousel, but I don't think you're going to see Eve out here bragging about no 1,000 men in fucking 12 hours or no shit like that, man. Says 6 months later, Phillips says she beat her previous record out of the water by claiming to sleep with 1,113 men in 12 hours. For those of you who have followed me for quite some time, now will understand that I've been wanting to do a certain world record, Phillips said in June 2025. Now I'm very happy to announce that yesterday I just did it. 1,113 men in 12 hours. That is fucking insane. The adult content creator said it was going to take her a little bit of time to edit and upload the content, which will be shared. But man, no telling how much money she made off this shit too. After Blue publicist confirmed to The Sun in January that she had sex with 1,057 men in 12 hours, the OnlyFans creator assured fans she was doing okay. I don't need a wheelchair. I'm fine, she said via Instagram. Just feels like I've had a heavy day in the bedroom, which is exactly what I've had. Disgusting, bro. Disgusting. And you'll see them, like I said again, and this right here, they're the epitome of beauty on the planet, man. These damn Edomites, man. Matter of fact, that's that scripture. Let me get Job. This comes to mind. Viler than the earth, man. Can you imagine the type of shit that they was doing when they was grunting in them damn caves? Job 30. I'm gonna start from verse 1. It says, But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. And you got a lot of these women that's too. They've been being ousted and being arrested and thrown in the news. They don't keep it in the news much, but they have Diddy flowing throughout the damn news all fucking day long. But when it comes to these so-called white women that's been getting arrested for sleeping with these dogs, it's kind of like in the news and it's gone. Verse 2, it says, Yea, and the men as well. It says, Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the valleys, in the caves of the earth, and in the rocks. And Esau, he'll give you this, that was 6 billion years ago, 10 billion years ago, the caveman turned, into this, No, this was not that long ago. It's going back thousands of years, but it's damn sure not no billions and millions of years that this man has been talking about. They was in them caves, man. It says, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. And that word bray, it goes off into like how pretty much animals just make noises because they really didn't have no, they was grunting, just running around grunting and shit. They didn't have no straightforward language, man. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Damn animals, man, fucking cavemen. These right here are nothing but cave women. But they are, in this society, they are set up on this pedestal as being the epitome of beauty. With all the recessive genes that they have. Recessive gene hair, recessive gene eyes, no melanin. They're out in the damn sun right now, trying to get some damn sun, trying to get some color. But anyway, it says, shortly after sleeping with 583 men in 6 hours, Knight was hospitalized, but later assured us she was on the road to recovery. The prognosis is good, and it looks like I'm going to have to take a week off, try and relax a little bit, sit out in the sun, just take it easy for a little while, Knight said. But I'll definitely be okay. I'm not letting this slow me down. See? Nastiness. And they can proudly put out an article like this right here as if they're just the beautiful things on the planet. No problems. No problems at all. These are your two not bad looking chicks, you know what I'm saying? But they got those recessive genes, man. Because anybody that's running around, they matter of fact, they got that clean leprosy. They don't have no melanin, man. And that hair and them eye colors and all that shit, those are all recessive genes. That's the reason why a lot of them be catching skin cancer and shit like that. They out in that sun trying to get some damn tan, trying to get some color. And this is just disgusting. And then you'll have some dude that'll wife these chicks. And she'll take him to the bank for everything that he got if he got any money. So, you Eves that's out here and you just living that life, pretty much this is who you're living your life after. This is your model of life, man. These damn Edomites with the blonde hair. And I hate seeing Eve with that shit in their head, man. Let me get a matter of fact, too, they said you could tell a nation by their women, man. Sirach 25:7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. This is you witnessing the fall. We're witnessing the fall of our enemy, because you go back, 20, 40. Well, I know for sure 40 years or so ago, 50 years ago. Matter of fact, let's put in what is this? let's just put in, I'm just going to put in white women. Let me see here. Going back 1970s. Let's just put that in. Here you go in 2025, and these women are out here bragging about bodies, man. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I'm gonna go back as far as 1970 and see what they was looking like and what they was about. Now this is when, you know, shit started to get real. This is when they started to kind of like go wild. They started to wear their little hot pants, little stuff like that, and they was out here doing their thing. You know, so-called white women have always been freaks, and generally just women in general. You know what I'm saying? Once they go on that monthly, they kind of get that urge to need that itch scratch, man. So, you know, but this was your 1970s. But let's just go back a decade before that. Let's go back to 1960, and you'll just see how shit just unchanged. 1960s, this was them. 10 years, within 10 years, they had went from this to wearing, you know, the little hot pants and stuff. It was starting to begin, but this is your typical so-called white woman right here. They wore long dresses, you know, past the knee. 1970, hell, they was out here, you know, they had Woodstock. That marijuana was flowing, and they just, you know, that's where all that debauchery and all of them, you know, pretty much they just was living, you know, after the Greek customs and things of that nature, like how they would normally live anyway, you know. But there was a point where, let's go back 1950, where they actually had somewhat of some integrity. A bitch being, if you was caught sleeping with more than one man, two men, you know, some shit like that back in the days, oh no, you was considered to be a complete whore. But this right here is your typical too, you know, this is when things started to change, when, you know, Esau threw the movie scene out there, really. But this was your typical, you know, so-called white woman back then. And this right here was kind of, when you see pictures like this, you know, this was your time period too of it's starting to change with women not being modest, you know, so to speak. They was kind of like, this right here was 44. So now let's go back another decade. We're in 1950. Let's go back to 1940. This Esau shit done fell off. And that TV, and let me see, was this the 1940s? No, I think these might be some, well, yeah, I guess they was getting, I'm trying to think when the bathing suit first came out. This was your typical little elegant so-called white woman. Now she's out here banging over 1,000 guys in 12 hours. But again, you know, they've always been on that tip type of deal, you know, not to the extent that they are right now. But this just shows you how far this place is falling. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, what else can come out of this? And again, like, I don't know what the hell they was thinking here. But, you know, this is what, yeah, because I'm trying to think what year that bathing suit came out. Let me see when, I'm going to put that in real quick. You know, when they came with that, that's when shit started to kind of turn. Just putting them, yeah. Trying to think, let me see, what year was it? 1946? The invention was 1946, okay. After World War II, it says due to material rationing after World War II. So you trying to tell me that materials was so slack that you could only come up with this? French engineer Louis Réard introduced the modern bikini, and you know them French people, they on some extra freaky type shit. They on some extra shit. But when that bikini dropped, that was pretty much about pretty much about a wrap for the so-called white woman at that point in the game. So that's when you start to see a lot of things really change and shit. Yep, they started coming out with them James Bond movies and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Showing the so-called white woman as a sex symbol, and that's pretty much what our people started to follow. And the scriptures talks about envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of their ways, because see, our people didn't get those roles like that. Then you started getting people like there's a few actors, you know what I'm saying? It had a few singers that was out, but especially around the time when they came, with Foxy Brown. And women, when they can't start coming out with those black exploitation movies and shit in the 70s, that's when Jake really started to just kind of just go damn nuts, man. Proverbs 3:31, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. See? But our people have chosen the ways of Esau and have taken that shit to a whole nother level, man. Not only did we choose their ways, as a people, but took that shit to a whole nother level. Now Eve out here, she just walking the streets with her ass clapping, And don't get me wrong, hey, if you go to a certain area, if you hit a Walmart in a so-called white people's area, or you see it's a bunch of so-called white girls in there, people running around with their asses bouncing too, ass cheeks out. So it's not just a so-called black woman thing, but Eve just, she takes shit too goddamn far, bro, but hey, it is what it is, that's the just Judah in general, men and women. When they start to do stuff and get into stuff, they take it to the next level. But anyway, I didn't want to keep this long, but this is disgusting as fuck right here. And again, it's men that actually, think about the men that actually signed up for this, that they would actually go in and stick their rod in something like this, man. I don't give a fuck if you got on 2-3 rubbers, condoms, you know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't be afraid. You ought to be afraid of even being in breathing distance of this bitch. Motherfuckers got to be toxic, boy. But again, this is your typical beauty standard right here in the Americas. But we're looking at the original HOE. This is the original, you know what I'm saying? But Eve, like I said, she caught along and she took it to another level, man. But I've never seen no Eves. Even though, you got Eves that do porn. They done slept with a gang of dudes too, but, But we talking about within this amount of hours, that many men in that amount of hours, that's crazy. 583 men in 6 hours, bro. Nasty work. Well, anyway, but that lets you know this place is Babylon the Great. This place is falling. These damn Edomites are running the world, and nothing is off limits to these people. They can never have enough. They just done destroyed the world, man. There's gonna be no women in our kingdom, man, doing no shit like this. This right here is the brother put up a little short, and I reposted it, saying that this man is the virus, and he is. He's really a damn virus in the planet, man. But he uses our people as the mascot for the very shit that he actually, he's really into. Nasty work, bro. Nasty. Good googly goo. God damn, bro. Anyway, man, I'm gonna end out there. Just know that we're at the end. Stay focused. Know that we're at the end of this man's society and kingdom. Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we're gonna have to. This right here shows you right here the kind of cleanup that we're gonna have to do, man, when our Lord comes, man. We're gonna have to do some real cleaning of the earth, man. When you got shit like this going on. And not to mention, like I said, these people be, the scriptures talk about bestiality. The reason why the Lord brought that up in the law, because you got people that sleep with animals, man. It's pornos. They got animal porn where women like this right here would be sleeping with a damn horse or something, man. That shit is out here. I wouldn't, disgusting as hell, but that shit is out here. Esau be filming stuff like this. Esau is nasty to the core, man. That's why I brought out that scripture, Job. They violent in the earth, man. So, but with that, I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yasha Allah and a Bible ball.